Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a really nice weekend. Today we're going to get started on our distance learning plan week 4. So it looks like this. This is the packet that you should have picked up at school last week. And if you didn't, have your parents call me and we can figure out how to get this to you. But you need this one for this week, and you should also have week 5. This packet is a little bit different than the packets that we've done before. It's broken down into a different way. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So I'm going to share my screen with you in just a second, and we're going to take a look. So each distance learning day is broken down into these 4 different sections. So you guys are going to start with a warm-up, and that you're going to do independently. So that you're going to do on your own, and I'm not going to do that in the video. Then you have a new section called New Learning. And this new learning you didn't have in your old packet. So this is what's different. And I'm going to go through the new learning in my YouTube. Now, something about that new learning. It may actually not be new to you because a lot of the new learning we actually already learned in class. So for example, today's lesson is all about decomposing fractions into unit fractions. We already learned that, but I'm still going to go through it because some of you may have forgotten what that looks like, and you're going to need it for the problem set. The next part is a let's try. So that's when you're going to get out your packet and do it with me while I'm doing it on the YouTube. So you're going to be working and I'm going to be working, and we're going to do it together while you're watching the YouTube. The last part is the problem set, and that part you're going to do all on your own, but you can always call me if you need help. Or on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when you log into Microsoft Teams for your math meeting, you can bring any questions you have to Ms. Fisher or Ms. Bowers, and they'll go through it with you. So we are going to get started. So today, this is the daily warm-up, but you're going to do this part on your own. So if you haven't done this yet, pause the video, do this all by yourself. But I'm going to get going with the new learning. Okay, so today's lesson is decomposing fractions into the sum of unit fractions. So what that looks like over here they have a reminder of what unit fractions are. So a unit fraction can be defined as a fraction whose numerator is 1. It represents one shaded part of all the equal parts of the whole. So 1/2 or 1/4, those are unit fractions. Now we learned a couple different ways to decompose a fraction into the sum of unit fractions. So the first way is a number bond. So down here, if we took 3/4 and decomposed it into unit fractions, it'd be 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. Because if we combined all of these, we would get 3/4. Now you can also draw a tape diagram. Now the tape diagram represents one whole, but we're only going to shade in 3 parts because it's 3/4. 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. And then the brackets here show how we write the fraction. 3/4 equals 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. These are all unit fractions. Now, you can also decompose a fraction to help you change an improper fraction into a mixed number. So remember, an improper fraction is when your numerator is bigger than your denominator. So for example, in this model, we have 10/8. Now this is greater than 1 whole. So if you look up here, our 1 whole is equal to 8/8. And that's what the bracket shows here. The bracket shows 8/8. And then 2 more makes 10/8. Now, the way that they wrote their number sentences, the way that they decomposed, they used the brackets to figure that out. The brackets are these little arrows down here, are the arrows that are right here. So if you can't really see them, I'm going to circle them. So 10/8 is equal to 3/8. The reason they put 3/8 is because this bracket here shows 3/8. And then 2/8. Ooh, that circle got really wonky. I'm going to erase it. I'm just getting used to this. So there's the 2/8, then another 2/8, then 1/8, and then another 2/8. So the brackets are what tell us how many pieces to group together. So then all they did was put it into a number bond. And it says, I can rename a fraction greater than 1, such as 10/8, as a whole number and a fraction, 1 and 2/8. So the way that they did that was they count out 8/8. So in this example, we can do 3/8, 3/8 plus 2/8, that's 5/8, plus another 2/8 is 7/8, plus one more 8 is 8/8. So this amount here is equal to 1 whole. And then 2/8 are left. So it's 1 and 2/8. Okay, this next example is very similar, but we're doing the reverse. So this time they give us the number sentence, but you have to draw the tape diagram. So it says draw and label tape diagrams to match each number sentence. So starting with A, we have 11/6. So we know that 1 whole is equal to 6/6. So this amount here that they show as 1 whole, that's 6/6. Now we're going to have another 5/6 to get to 11/6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/6. Altogether, that gives 11/6. Now the number sentence says 11/6 is 3/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 4/6. So that's how they knew what to draw for each bracket. So they grouped together 3/6, and then 2/6, and then another 2/6, and then 4/6. The same thing over here, but this time it's a mixed number. So they start by doing 1 whole. The way we know how many to put in our 1 whole is we look at the unit. So the unit here is 12. I better erase that so you can actually see it. So the unit is 12. So we know that 1 whole is going to be 12/12. So they group together 12/12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's our 1 whole. And then we have 2 more 12s, 1/12, 2/12. And then number sentence says 1 and 2/12 is equal to 7/12 plus 4/12 plus 3/12. So first we group together 7/12, and then 4/12, and then 3/12. All right, let's look at the next new learning example. So here they give you steps. So when you get a problem like this, you're going to follow the steps. So it says step 1, draw and shade a tape diagram of the given fraction. So right here, the fraction is 4/8. So you're going to draw a tape diagram to model 4/8. The whole thing is 1 whole. The shaded amount is the 4/8. Step 2, record the decomposition as the sum of unit fractions. So sum of unit fractions means you have to use unit fractions. Remember, unit fractions have 1 as the numerator. So down here, right here, they did 4/8 equals 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. Step 3, record the decomposition of the fractions 2 more ways. So doesn't say unit fractions here, so it can be any way you want. So 4/8, here are some, it says sample student responses because you could come up with any way that works for you. So 4/8 equals 2/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, or 4/8 equals 3/8 plus 1/8. Okay, let's look at the next example. Here it says, draw and shade a tape diagram for the given fraction. This time our fraction is greater than 1 whole. So first you have to draw the whole. We know that fifths is the unit. and 5/5 equals 1 whole. So the first thing you do is you label your 1 whole, which is 5/5. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Now we need 3 more fifths to get to 8/5. So 5/5, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5. So then it says record the decomposition of the fraction in 3 different ways using number sentences. So it doesn't say you have to use unit fractions here, so you can do it any way you want. Here are 3 different examples, but you could use unit fractions if you want. But they have to add up to 8/5. So each one of these number sentences adds up to 8/5. Okay, we're gonna do a let's try. So you're gonna turn to this page in your packet now. So if you look up at my screen at the top, you're going to turn to that page in your packet and do this with me. Now, I'm writing on a screen, so my handwriting is gonna be pretty bad. Yours will probably be better than mine. So just be patient with me as I try and draw on the computer. So the first one says, draw a number bond and write the number sentence to match the tape diagram. So if we're looking at the tape diagram, the first question asks, how many parts has the whole been partitioned into? The whole. Now, the whole is what they highlighted here as 1 whole. That's different from the whole thing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 pieces. So I know my fractional unit is fifths. So my denominator is going to be fifths. What does each shaded part represent? Each shaded part is 1/5. 1/5. Ooh. Okay. Now, what does the whole shaded part represent? 6/5 or 6/5? That's the answer because it's in blue. So now we need to take a look at the brackets and label the amount that's represented by each group. So this is grouping together 2/5. So I'm going to put 2/5. And I want you to do this with me. So you guys are all drawing this with me in your packets. Much neater than me. So this is another 2/5. So I'm going to label it as 2/5. That one was pretty good. And then another 2/5. Okay. Now, 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5 is 6/5. So we're writing that out as an addition sentence. So all you're doing is rewriting 2/5 in each one of these. I'm going to do that a little bit more quickly this time, so it might be a little bit messy. But you're also labeling that in yours as I do this. So that's 2/5, 2/5, and 2/5. That's a 2. Now down here, you're going to do the number bond. So the total amount goes in the big circle. So that's 6/5. And we broke it down into, again, 2/5, 2/5, and 2/5. All right. So you should have this on your paper also. For the other parts, you didn't need to do any writing, but for this part, you do. Okay, this is the last one we're going to do together. It says, draw and label a tape diagram to match the sentence. So 4/5 is the amount shaded. So we drew 1 whole and shaded in 4/5. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Now they want to show that it's decomposed into 1/5 plus 2/5 plus 1/5. You're going to have to draw the bracket. So the first part is 1/5. So I'm going to do a little bracket here and label it as 1/5. Now the next part is 2/5. So I'm going to draw another little bracket and label it as 2/5. Ooh, my handwriting is terrible. And the last part is another 1/5. So I'm going to draw a bracket and label it as 1/5. So it says, how many parts do I need to make in the whole? Well, the whole needs to be 5. How many parts should I shade to represent the total amount? You need to shade 4 out of the 5. And we already partitioned the tape diagram. So now you guys are going to move on to the problem set, which is the next page. You're going to do that all on your own. And if you need help, you can comment on this video, you can text me, you can call me, or you can wait until Tuesday to go over it with Ms. Bowers. If you want to get a little extra credit, you can take a picture of your work and text it to me and I'll check it. All right, good luck, you guys. Always call me if you need help, and I will see you again tomorrow.